very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is presented to you by Losico. So, today we'll discuss important articles from the newspaper of 4th June 2021. This newspaper analysis is presented to you by me. My name is Ankita Parida. I have completed my BTech from IIIT Bhubaneswar and MTech from ITR Bhubaneswar, and have completed my LLB in 2020 from Fakir Mohn University. Presently, I work as a trainee associate and current affair expert with Lawseco. You can reach out to me at my LinkedIn or Twitter handle, which is mentioned here. Today, we have two important articles of the day. The first one is actually related topics, and we have clubbed them into one. The Kedarnath sedition ruling. It talks about the new Vinod Dua case and the Supreme Court verdict on it. The second is titled as Model Tenancy Act, What Changes for Property Owners and Tenants. In this article, we have spoken about the Model Tenancy Act and what change it can bring for property owners and tenants in the country and how it can revamp the rent economy of our country. So moving to the MCQ section of the day, Center has amended its pension rules, putting new restriction on officials of intelligence and security organization after retirement. The organizations included are, your options are, option A, RAW, option B, Intelligence Bureau, option C, CISF, and option D, all of the above. You can write your answers in the comment section. The descriptive question for the day is, what is the Model Tenancy Act and what are the changes brought for property owners and tenants under this act? You can write your answers in 250 to 300 words. So the first article of the day, we discuss the Vinod Dua versus Union of India and others case. So recently, the Supreme Court has quashed the case of sedition filed against the journalist Vinod Dua in Himachal Pradesh for allegedly making remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his government's handling of migrant crisis during the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020. Also, the Supreme Court has reiterated the Kedarnath Singh versus Union of India guidelines. Let's understand what was this case and who is this journalist. So Vinod Dua is a very famous and eminent journalist in India, and he has also received Padma Shri Award from the government of India for his journalism. He criticized the Pradhan Mantri because of his migrants handling and COVID-19 situation handling in 2020. And because of it, BJP leader Ajay Sham had filed a sedition case under Section 124A of IPC against him. Let's see what is the sedition law in our country. So, Section 124A of Indian Penal Code 1860 talks about the sedition law. It says, whoever by word, either spoken or written, or by sign, or by visual representation, or otherwise brings or attempts to bring into hatred or contempt, or excites or attempts to excite disaffection towards the government established by law in India, shall be punished. The punishment for this is imprisonment for life, to which fine may be added, or imprisonment which may extend to 3 years, to which fine may be added, or just a fine. So, as we know, this has been in question for several times, and this has been a very archaic, harsh law in our democratic country. And based on this, there has been many landmark cases. Some of them are, in 1962, the Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar case came up, and in this, the Supreme Court held that a citizen has right to say or write whatever he likes about the government or it measures by way of criticism or comment, so long as he does not excite people to violence. Incite people to violence. So, in this verdict, the Supreme Court had clearly stated that as long as the comment or the criticism does not call for a violence or incite violence in the public, then it shall not be termed as seditious. Secondly, in 1982, in P. Allavi versus State of Kerala case, the court had held sloganeering criticizing the parliament or the judicial setup did not amount to sedition. So here also the court has clearly stated that sloganeering or criticizing parliament or even the judicial setup does not amount to sedition. Third, in 1995, Balwant Singh and another versus State of Punjab case, the Supreme Court says raising some slogan a couple of times which neither invoked any response nor any reaction from the public, cannot attract any punishment. So in this, actually, the court noted that some people were having this slogan of Khalistan Jindabad, and it did not revoke any response or reaction from the public, neither did it incite violence in the country. So therefore, the Supreme Court stated that this person should not be said that he has done something seditious, because he is just having some slogan and raising some slogan of Khalistan Jindabad. That doesn't mean that he's doing some kind of seditious activity against the nation. So in this country, so in this context of this case, Vinod Dua versus Union of India, Mr. Vinod Dua, he wrote and also made a video criticizing Prime Minister relating to the COVID-19 crisis management and the migrant crisis, which was a havoc at that point of time. And many people lost their livelihood because of this migrant crisis also. So in this situation, the Supreme Court held that the remarks constituted a genuine criticism of the government and could not be labeled as seditious. Also, the Supreme Court stated that every journalist will be entitled to protection in terms of Kedarnath case, as every prosecution under Section 124A of IPC must be in conformity with scope and ambit laid down under the Kedarnath case. Also, in this case, Mr. Vinod Dua had asked that the FIR against any media person who has an experience of 10 years in media sector must not be must not be filed if it is not cleared by a committee which should be established in every state of the country, and it must constitute a high court judge and a leader of opposition among the other members. So he had asked that Supreme Court must give such kind of directive that a committee must be set up, so that when this committee gives the clearance, then only FIR can be filed against an experienced person in the media sector. However, this request was completely rejected by the court, and court rejected the prayer for constitution of a committee in all states to prevent misuse of sedition law. And it stated that formulation of such kind of committee would amount to encroachment of legislature's domain. Now let's see what was the Kedarnath judgment and what kind of principles were laid down by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of sedition law, and it attempted to restrict the scope of sedition law in our country by these guidelines. It stated that unless incitement or call for violation is there in this kind of comment or criticism, then this act or any kind of act should not be termed as a seditious act, and Section 124A should not be invoked. The principle laid by Supreme Court were expression the government established by law has to be distinguished from person for the time being engaged in carrying on the administration. For example, the prime minister or the ministers who are engaged in running the government are the symbolic face of the government, but they are not the state. India is the state against which, if a person writes something which is against the state or the country, then it might be termed as seditious if it is inciting violence. But if somebody criticizes the government or the government personnel or the officials who are the representative of the state, it should not be misunderstood that they are doing something seditious. However, comment strongly worded expressing disapprobation of actions of government while exciting public disorder by violence can attract penal actions. So, the Supreme Court clearly stated that citizens have right to say whatever he or she likes to say about the government by criticism, by commentary, but without inciting people for violence. Also, in this, the Supreme Court stated that there must be put a limitation on operation or to these activities, and it should be under the observation of the federal court or the Supreme Court. And these activities involving violence or intention or a tendency to create public disorder should only be termed as seditious and should only be filed under the seditious law. So again, the Supreme Court has come up with clear directive and strengthening the anti-seditious things which are hampering the democratic setup of the country. Moving to our second article of the day, it is about the Model Tenant Act. Union Cabinet approved the Model Tenant Act to streamline the process of renting property in India and aid the rent economy in the estate sector. So, a draft was released in 2019, which talked about the Model Tenancy Act, and now in 2021, it was approved by the Union Cabinet. And for additional information, let me say that this decision of Model Tenancy Act and the idea behind it was framed by the Task Force for Rental Housing. And in 2015, before Housing for All by 2020 mission, that is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, it was decided that 20% of the 2 crores houses that are being made should be exclusively for rental purpose. So we see that in our country there are huge number of houses and rental properties, commercial properties included in that, are staying vacant because of the ambiguity regarding the real estate sector and the non-transparent nature of this kind of possession and property things in our nation. More than 1 crore houses were lying vacant in urban areas, and according to the 2011 census, and due to this reason there has been seen that there is a huge lack of transparency, accounting, and also the archaic law which used to tackle all these things does not serve to the balance of interest of both the parties, that is the tenants and the property owners. The existing law therefore have made this a shadow market in itself. We see that rental housing and the rent which are obtained from the tenants are generally not taxed upon, and people try to evade their tax from their income, from their rental income. And there is lot of ambiguity in this section, because of which state is not able to realize the full potential of this sector, that is which constitute of the real estate sector of country. Under this law, it has been stated that the state has the option to adopt it or to amend it as per its wishes, and this provision was given by the memorandum of understanding which was signed between the center and state under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Now let's see what are the aims of this new law. So in this new law, first of all, tries to formalize the shadow market which is there in the rental property sector and the real estate. Secondly, it tries to unlock the vacant properties which the property owners are not willing to rent to the tenants because of repossession and because of a lot of problems in this sector. Also, it will increase the rental yields because of bringing more accountancy, and it will also remove the exploitative practices by increasing transparency and discipline. Let's know where it applies. So after this act is enacted by any state, no person can let or rent their premise without having a written agreement which was previously permitted with a verbal agreement. And now, as per this law, no person can rent or let their premise without having a written agreement. And this law will be prospective in nature, and it cannot be enacted retrospectively, and this law is applicable to urban as well as the rural sector of the country. Now let's see what's new in this. The state shall have to set up grievance redressal mechanism, and they have to appoint a rent authority. They have to set up rent court and rent tribunals to provide fast track resolution of disputes in 60 days. As we know, because of many a times it has been seen that the tenants are not willing to empty the houses even after persuasion by the landlords or the property owners for many times. And it has been seen that NRIs put their homes vacant, and they are not able to get enough rent out of it, because they are not able to handle these kind of things because of absence of written contracts or agreements, and also no clear law or redressal mechanism in our nation regarding this rental agreement. And this act also states about no monetary ceiling, which was previously not there. In the Archaic law there was a monetary ceiling, and because of which the prime locations in South Bombay, which are already rented with a very low rate, are still forcefully occupied by the tenants, and the people who are the property owners are not able to leverage on it because of monetary ceilings that are there in the Archaic law. Also, this law provides for digital platform in local vernacular languages for submitting tenancy agreements and other documents. So this will basically streamline all the agreements so such that the rent authority can view and also act on this from this digital platform itself, and it will bring huge transparency and discipline in the system. Also, as I had said earlier, that no verbal agreement will further be entertained under this act, and it has to be a written one. And the very important thing which has been stressed in this act is that there should be no subletting of premise or no structural change without the prior consent of the landlords. It has been seen that after many years of stay by the tenant, it has been observed that they tend to do structural changes or subletting of the premise without the permission of the landlord. However, this act has restricted it. The principles enshrined in this is that the security deposit should not exceed 2 months, and repossession of tenant has been stressed so that the tenant do not misuse the premise. In case of force majeure event, landlord shall give a period until 1 month uh, to hold on to the property by the tenant for 1 more month. So this law will bring more transparency, and it will definitely act on leveraging the rent market of the country and boost the real estate sector to another level. So this is definitely a welcome move, and all the state must look into this and bring adopt it with some amendment or no amendment to it. So this was all for today. Thank you.